All right, hello everyone, and thank you again for joining this Cosmos Campfire. I've really enjoyed doing these webinars, and I hope to bring some more towards you guys. So if you have any ideas on future campfires, please feel free to leave a comment in the chat box. We also have an open Q&A after this session in case you have any questions. Okay. So I'm Lexi. I cover all of the customer success, customer support, a lot of the knowledge materials, any open office hours or demos, training requests, things like that. I will be more than happy to help with. In this demo today, we're going to be taking a look at logging time within Mission Control, which is the process of indicating the amount of time spent completing a task within Mission Control. We also have the feature now to track time towards checklist items as well. We'll take a further look at the timesheet. So I'll show you some details in regards to timesheet approvals, the calendar converter, but we'll also focus on logging time from components like the whiteboard, action pad, project overview, trackpad, the utility bar, action records, and the Gantt chart. I will also try to fit in showing you how to add the log time component to a page layout. There's a lot of information here, so if it happens to be that we don't get to that, I will make sure to include that. Oh. Thank you for the comment. Can everyone see my screen now? Awesome. Awesome. Thank you for the reminder. So just going over those objectives, we'll take a further look at these features. And so let's go ahead and dive in. Thank you for letting me know that. So I'm actually going to start with showing you the different components that you can log time against. Then we'll go ahead and get into further detail on the timesheet. So let's go ahead and start with the project overview. So as many of you know, this is where you'll go to get a basic overview of the milestones, actions, and checklist items on a project. But we actually have on the action level a few icons here. So the first one will allow you to go to the resource assignment wizard. You can add checklist items here, but you can also log time. So anywhere that you see this clock component, this will be the log time feature. So as you can see, when I click the clock here, it already populated the action that I need to log time towards. So you may have different requirements as to what is required when logging time. On here, I just have the requirement of the date, the project member, which action, I don't require the overtime non-billable. Some of this information is classified on the action. But what I need to do is define the amount of hours completed. Or we also have a pretty cool feature that I use a lot, which would be the start and stop tracking time. So to use this feature, you would, instead of putting a value here, you would open the log time model and then start tracking time. Now, in order to stop this, you can either go directly to the timesheet, or you can go back to that action. As you can see, it's highlighted here, so time is being tracked towards it. And go ahead and click that again. It'll let you know how much time has gone by and what time you actually started tracking time. So just to complete this time log record, you would go ahead and stop tracking time. So you can see the time log was created successfully. All right, moving on, you can also log time from the action pad. So similar to the overview, it's just going to be an icon on the side here of the action. So I'm not going to log time, but it's going to be the same modal that pops up. Moving forward to the whiteboard, you also have the ability to log time from the action cards on the whiteboard. So again, it's the same icon. You can go ahead and just log the amount of hours. You can specify a checklist item if you want to log time towards checklist items, and then go ahead and click log time. Once you've created your time log records, you can also see some burn down information. You can log a new time log record from the time log pad on the overview. This will actually open the complete time log record. So if you need further details, you can also log time from here. Another thing that I do want to note while we're here is that you also have your approval information on your time log. So this information will, who set up to approve your time sheets and time log records. This will be defined on the project record. So in the project detail, there are two fields. There's role manager timesheet approval required or project owner. So in this case, I have project owner timesheet approval required. So when time logs are logged against this project, they all must be approved by me since I'm the project owner. So I'll show you what that looks like. Let's go ahead and go to the Gantt chart. This is another area that you can log time from. And you see we have some action items here. Let's go ahead and click that clock again and log some time. This time I'm going to log time as someone else so that we can see what those approval records will look like. And then I'll show you the last two ways before we go ahead and navigate to the timesheet and see what we've been doing. So at the bottom of the mission control application, you'll always have the ability to log time from the utility bar at the bottom. What this will do is go ahead and open the log time modal. If you do not have this and you want to add it on other applications where you have the utility bar, then you can do that from, it's like a little utility bar settings that you would have to get into with your system administrator. Okay, and again, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we'll answer those as soon as we're done with the demonstration. All right, so let's select an action. I'm going to log time as someone else just so we can get some more records in there. Go ahead and hit log time. The last place to do this from would be from an action record. So let's go ahead and just open up an action record. And how you would do this is you would actually go to the related list where you see all the time logs and just click new time log. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the timesheet and check out what we've been doing. So as you can see on the timesheet, you have three different tabs here. You have your timesheet tab, the calendar converter, and then your approvals tab. Now, if you don't have any timesheets to approve, you will not see this tab available. Here is an action record that I've already logged time against, so it's populated on my timesheet. If you do not see an action that you need to log time against, you can also search it here. The account filter is not required, but you can go ahead and populate which project you want to log time against and go ahead and save so that that record is added to your timesheet. From here, you get a lot of information, okay? You have the ability to navigate to chatter, the checklist items from the action, if you need to raise an issue against the action, to mark the action complete, and then a breakdown of the hours, so the hours scheduled, remaining, and complete. Just going down the time here, you can actually use the start stop track feature from the actual timesheet here. So to do that, you would just click the clock that will start your time. And then after a little while, we'll just allow it to run. When you're done, you'll just click that again and it'll go ahead and get your time log created. You may have noticed that I have some boxes grayed out here. What these are considered are your non-working days. So that would be defined in your company settings, but also holidays will be grayed out as well, approved holidays. If you do not want this to be shaded a different color, you can click within the timesheet settings to have this not grayed out, but it is pretty helpful. You have the ability to control a couple of different features here, but I will get into this in a little bit. Okay, so moving forward, say for instance, you've added time and you want to add a bit more time to this action record. What you can do is actually type into the box that you're trying to add time against and add that time in addition to what's existing. So this one had 2 hours and 2.01 hours. You want to add 1 more hour. So let's make that 3.01. So I'll click out of it and that's created a new time log record. Now it's not saved, so the record has not been fully completed. But what you can do is double click the same box. And just on that 1 hour that we've created, we can add some time log notes, specify different information, and then go ahead and save. Now, once you save your timesheet, that's when the actual time log record has been created. Now, if you want to make changes, you cannot just delete these fields here and actually delete the record there, so that those time logs will still be existing. What you can do is view the time log summary by selecting this eye icon here. This will show you all of the records that have been created, the time log records that have been created against the one action. So if you want to see them for the other actions, you would have to select the eye icon on those specific actions. You can modify your time logs from here. You can remove time logs from here by selecting the trash icon, or you can simply just close out. Now, because I have approvals set up on this project, and I am the timesheet approver for this project, I also have some information here on the available time log records. So what this is telling me is that I have 3 pending time logs, 1 that's submitted, and 0 approved, okay? And then 0 rejected. Oh, I'm sorry, just 1 that's been approved on this action. If you would like to remove an action from this view, you can also do so by clicking this little reverse looking icon. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop that time log. You can see the time log has been added here. So we can go ahead and save and submit this timesheet. Now, if you've been scheduled to work a total amount of hours, which is on your roll record, and the amount of time that you've entered on your actions is less than that, you may receive this message. This just is confirming that you want to submit your timesheet with less hours than that's been allocated. If you would like to remove this, you can do so within the settings here, and that's the save and submit timesheet notification. Okay. You can also add additional fields on your timesheet. To add additional fields on the time log information modal, this would be here. So I know I've gotten a couple of these in the comments already, to add it on the time log information modal, and that would be here. So let me show you again what that would be. That's not what I was trying to do. What have to. So on this time log information, which is like when I've added time to an action, and then I double click to open up the time log information. That's when I double click, then you can add fields here. So let me show you that one more time. This is within the settings. You select whichever field that you want to add here. Save. And you see that numbers disappeared. That's because I haven't saved my timesheet. Yeah. So now you can see that field has been added. So the settings that you set here, this will be just for your user, the individual user that's viewing the timesheet. This can be overwritten for all of your users within the Mission Control console, in the control pad if you have access to those settings, okay? One more thing that I would like to note on this page, or actually about 2-3 more things, would be the holiday line at the bottom of the page. This will summarize the amount of hours that has been entered due to the holiday, so that you're not negative for your hours for your goal towards the end of the week. So Monday was Martin Luther King Day, and that was a public holiday, so it's on all of the users' timesheets. That day is grayed out, but it does specify that 8 hours will be deducted from the 40 because it's not expected for us to work that day. Okay. If you have other holiday records that have been created, whether it's personal or public, that will be added here. And you do have the option to remove that from here as well. You can hide holidays. Another thing that you can do is save your suggested hours. So what this is when you're assigned and you're scheduled to have a certain amount of hours, what we'll do is break down those hours over a period of time for that week, and it would be grayed out. Because these hours are not scheduled for this week, and I've already logged time against this action, which had it laid out for this week, those grayed out numbers are not here. But I'll show you what that will look like. So we say we had one action that was scheduled. These values would show up on your timesheet like this, broken down and adding up to the amount scheduled for that action, but they will be grayed out. They won't actually be entered. They won't actually be entered here on your timesheet. What the save suggested hours button would do here is actually create those time log records and populate it on your timesheet. Okay. You can also clone last week's hours. Because this is a test org, I don't have hours from the previous week to clone, but you can do that with this feature. You also can change the week that you're viewing from here, or if you have the permission to view other timesheets, you can do so from here. This permission would need to be activated on your role record. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the calendar converter. This feature is pretty cool. So I didn't have too many events to show, again, because this is a test org. But this calendar converter is based off of the Salesforce calendar. So if you have your Gmail or your Outlook connected to your Salesforce org, then any of the events that you have there will show up here. You can create time log records by dragging and creating a time here. And like, as you can see, just from me dragging from the certain amount of time, the hours completed is already populated. But another cool feature, if you have more events here, is you can actually create time log records for those events by pressing the eye icon. The amount of time would already be populated for you. All you will need to do is define the project and the action that that time log will go against. Now, here's another cool feature. So once I go ahead and log this time, you're going to see the color has changed. And this is changed because there is a color that's specified on the project. Whatever color is specified on the project will be the color that this is changed to. So pretty cool. Moving on to the approvals. So here are the time logs that we need to approve for the users that have logged time against that project. It shows the project, milestone, and actions, the time, and the actual link to the time log record, how many hours have been completed, and a couple of other details like if it's overtime, non-billable, if you have notes, you can access chatter from here, and you can approve or reject. So because I only required that the project manager needs to approve these, that's the only approve and reject that you see. You don't see the check boxes for the role managers because it's not required. So I'm going to go ahead and approve these and save. Since these were all logged under the same action, I'm just going to hit this top checkbox and that'll approve all of the time logs under it. That's been approved. So let's go ahead and go back to the timesheet. All right, so now you can see that all of those, I have a submitted time log that's sitting somewhere, but all of those records that I've created have now been approved here. Okay. All right, so I have a few questions in the chat box. I know that was a lot of information. We have a lot of features here. So I will go ahead and get started on the chat and question and answer boxes, get some information from there. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. I'm going to actually show you how to add the log time component to a page really quick. So let's go ahead and add this to an opportunity. So of course you'll need system administrative permissions to do this. But what I'm going to do, I want this component to be off on the side here where this related tab is. So I'm going to create a tab and rename it log time. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the log time modal here. Boom. page isn't activated. So I'm going to do this quick. And now you can see the log time modal has been added here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get these chat boxes and stuff pulled up so I can get your questions in. All right. Okay, so first question is, can you adjust the fields being shown in the time logging view from the whiteboard? So this component that comes up is a visual force page. So the fields that have been defined here cannot be changed. Okay. Is it possible to customize the log time lightning component? Okay, so the component that comes up is the same one. And you wouldn't be able to change the fields that are displayed here. This is the same component that will come up. And then it's the same as the one that I just added to the overview opportunity page. So again, these fields here cannot be modified. This is the same as the component here. Okay. And just to clarify again, that if you needed to modify information on the fields displayed from the time log information, then you can do that from within the timesheet settings. Okay. Is there a setting in mission control to enable email notifications on rejected time logs? Or is this something that we create ourselves? So when you have the daily digest set up, you will see information from on your actions, and if you have items that have not been approved. If you wanted like an actual email alert to go out, this is something that would need to be created. But I can actually submit that as a feature request. So again, you do have the daily digest that will give you that information as well. How can we see utilization on a weekly basis? If you wanted to see utilization, you would use a tool like the scheduler. So this would show you your schedule and remaining and the actual utilization against actions on a project. You could just change that to weekly. This also shows you that holiday record that was created. Okay, I have another question. If we had the ability to make the page bigger when creating the requirements. Christine, in regards to your question on creating new requirements, I'm going to reach out to you just so I can get a little information as to where you're creating the requirements and what you're looking for. Okay, awesome. All right, we got some more questions to push through. We have, can you add custom fields to the utility bar item? The utility bar item would be similar to the other components, but this is a feature request that we have. So is there reporting available for timesheets on a weekly and monthly basis? So we do have a few reports that are set up within Mission Control. We also have a few custom report types that allow you to report on this information. You can also view the role utilization page. So So the role utilization page will give you a breakdown of the billable hours completed, billable capacity, target hours, hours completed against the hours per week. And you can also, right now I'm only viewing this information by my one role record, but you can also have this information summarized by teams. Okay. Why does utilization show 80? Launch 4 hours in the scheduler. Okay, Leonie, I will have to reach out to you separate as well, as I'm not sure exactly where you're referring to. But I'll make sure to reach out to you to get clarification on your question, okay? Okay. So the last question we have here, is there a way to have the non-billable box default to checked when creating a time log from an action marked as non-billable? Okay, so I believe you're referring to, let's see. Let's add an action. I'm just gonna do this really quick just so I can get a visual of what you're saying here. So you're saying if this action is marked non-billable on the timesheet, let me read that again. Non-billable and creating a time log. Okay. So let's go back to that. If we log time against this action, okay, so the non-billable is not grade default. I will have to check with the team on that one to see if that's something that we can do so that the non-billable on this action, that non-billable checkbox would be marked well. So that one I would actually have to submit as a feature request as well. Just so everyone else knows, I'm referring to this non-billable field here. I can't find that action to add it on here. Let's see if I can find it. I can't. There it is. So I see the hours that I have. Yeah, that's a great question, Robert. So it's marked non-billable here by default once the time log record is created, but not on the actual modals that pop up. So I'm going to also check here. And it's not here either. So got it. All right, does anyone else have any questions? If you have any questions unrelated to the time logging, I can answer those as well. And I know we covered a lot of information here on the timesheets and the logging time features. I will have, yep, the recording from this will be submitted to everyone who's registered. And we also have a new section on the website specifically for the Kosmo Campfire webinars. So you can see webinars that have been previously recorded. And again, if you have any suggestions on some webinars that you would like to see for the Kosmo Campfires, please feel free to let me know and we'll get those scheduled out. The next one that we have coming up is generating projects from opportunities. That'll be a really good one for everyone to tune in. All right. So what I'll do is try to get a Cosmo set up for like timesheet notifications and dive a little deeper on the approvals and settings and things like that. But it looks like we're wrapping up on the questions. I haven't had any additional questions come in yet. So again, thank you everyone for joining in. It's been a pleasure to bring these Cosmo campfires, and I'm really excited to do a couple more. Next Cosmo campfire for next month will actually be presented by our implementation specialist. His name is Zach. So it will be great for you guys to meet him and get a little bit more detail on generating projects from opportunities. On the upcoming release, instead of doing Cosmo campfires because we release a lot of features, we actually do a webinar called What's New webinar. So what will happen is we'll do a What's New webinar that goes over all of the features and things that are included. We release these on our blog. We also have a YouTube channel that will have all of the What's New webinars on there as well. So please feel free to check out these updates on the blog post. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful day. We'll be back to the regular scheduled time as well. So once the registration information goes out, you can register for the next Cosmo Campfire. Have a great week, everyone.